Was a prostitute. My father was a pimp. I bet I got your attention now. I won't be real, I knew better. I won't be real. On both sides of my family, my black side and my white side, on both sides of my family, they're alcoholics and drug addicts. My Irish side, they all drink like fish. My black side from down south, they all drink like fish. Generational curses, you can call it what you want. Science, you can call it the how thin or thick the cortex of the brain is. It's more prone to addiction. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But I knew better. But the pain was so bad that all I wanted to do is just numb it. I just wanted to numb it just a little bit, just numb this pain. Let me grab myself a beer. Let me grab myself a shot of some vodka. Long story short, trying to relieve that pain, started to feel better. Temporary fix, I started to feel better. I started to drink. Before I know it, the drinking took over my life. I ended up divorcing my ex-wife. I divorced her. Started just living reckless, living however I wanted to live. I had a company. The company was making a lot of money. I would just go place and spend money ridiculously. I wouldn't go to casinos. I'd eat out at restaurants every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The money, just throwing money away, drinking. And the crazy part about it was, I didn't try to quit because I could still function. I was a functioning alcoholic. I done gave presentations at BU drunk. I used to run the business department at the Salvation Army and did all their hiring and did all their interviewing and did their training and so on and so forth. I did it drunk. I would go and speak at certain engagements, still speaking. I'd do it drunk. Started running the company. The company was very successful. Did it drunk. So certain things weren't falling apart. And so you start to tell yourself you don't have a problem. It's not really a problem yet because you can still function. You can still manage things. You can still do certain things. My pastor told me, he said, wow, it's crazy that you're still alive and that you were able to have and maintain a company throughout all that time. Do you know how many times I don't even know? I can't count on my hands how many times God saved my life because I'd be so drunk and be driving long distances and would fall asleep on the road. Fall asleep. I would wake up in the opposite lane. I would wake up swerving. I would wake up and just miss a car and I can't even count how many times that happened. God was keeping me alive for a reason. And I drank. And let me tell you, drinking, because I know a lot of people who drink. Let me tell you, drinking. This drinking was so serious. Like, I tried quitting a few times. I tried quitting, and my body would shake, and you know, I'd sweat. I'd be in the room, and had the AC on, but I'm pouring sweat. I can't take the pain. Body have withdrawals. All right, I'm out of here. I go to the liquor store right around the corner, start drinking. My drinking was so bad. I'll start off with this. My drinking was so bad that scientifically speaking and medically speaking, if I were to just stop, I would die. Like my organs would shut down and I would die. Even when you go to a rehab or something, they feed you a medication to slowly help you wean off alcohol. They say, in fact, that alcohol withdrawals are more dangerous and more deadly than heroin withdrawals. I drank. When I say I drank, I mean I drank. I went to sleep drunk. I woke up drunk. All day long, I drank. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm drinking. Peep this. It would be close to 11 o'clock at night. I'd see the time, know that the liquor store's closed. I'd jump up, throw my shoes on, jump in the car, dip off, and buy enough alcohol. Why? So I could have enough alcohol for tonight and enough alcohol for tomorrow morning when I woke up. Why? Because my body could not handle waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and having to wait until 9 o'clock in the morning just to get another drink. I'd be in Boston working, driving up and down Blue Hill Avenue. And there's a liquor store on every corner. Liquor store on every corner. I couldn't drive past a liquor store without stopping to get something to drink. And there are individuals who knew me at this stage, and they could testify that what I'm telling you is the 100% truth. I have a worker to this day who was like, oh my God, Nick, I can't believe you stopped drinking. I used to pick the dude up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning to go on work sites, him and some other dudes, and had alcohol right in my car. I would drink Gatorade bottles full of vodka. Half Gatorade, rest vodka. All day long, I would drink. I couldn't watch a movie and see somebody cracking a beer or getting a sip of wine without going to my refrigerator and grabbing something. I was addicted, and it was a stronghold. And like I said, I tried to quit several times, tried to quit. The body would shake, so on and so forth. And I remember one day specifically, I told God, I said, you God, I'm fed up with this, right? But I know I can't quit, and I know what happens to my body, and this and that, so I'm really just fed up with life, I'm fed up with everything, so I'm ready to die now, right? So I poured out all the alcohol in my apartment, and I told God, I said, check this out. I said, if I die, this is on you, God. I said, I'm willing to die. That's how much, from this day forward, I'll never have a drink again in my life. I'm willing to die. If my body shuts down, if the organs shut down, I'm willing to die. And if I die, that's on you. That's what I told God. The next thing I told God, I said, I'm going to give you my entire life. I'm going to give you my body as a living sacrifice. I'm going to give you my body. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke marijuana. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to look at pornography anymore. I'm not going to masturbate. I'm not going to have sex with any female until the day I get married. And if you make me wait, Lord, a year or 3 years or 5 years, let's go. Because I want to see what you can do with my life if I give it entirely to you. That's what I said. I told God, I said, I want to see what you can do. I want to see what you can do if I give you my entire life. Next morning I woke up, went to work, finished work early, like around 1 o'clock, and in my mind, the devil was right there. Yo, man, you driving past a liquor store right now, you need to stop. Stop by that liquor store, grab yourself a drink. You need to stop. Devil was in my head. You know you can't do this. Grab yourself a drink. And I said, nah. I said, I'll die first. I called my man up, my best friend, my best man. Called him up. He's a pastor out in Connecticut. Big shout out to my brother, Clinton Adams Jr. I called him up. I told him what I was going through. And I said, man, I ain't drinking, He said, yo, let me pray for you. As soon as he started to pray, the phone went out. Couldn't hear nothing. Jip, 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 jip. Breaking up. Jip, 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 jip. As soon as he was done praying, his voice came back in completely clear. I said, yo, bro, I didn't get to hear anything you were saying. He said, yeah, man, the area that I'm driving in, there is no reception. But you know what? I got to go run through. I'm at work right now. I'm going to go do what I'm doing. But when I call, later on, you can call me back. I said, all right, cool. The crazy thing is, God has something else in store for my deliverance. Because if I can't hear my brother on the phone when he's praying for me, that means I can't be in agreement. And the scripture says when 2 or more gather in agreement, you can have what it is that you ask of me. But there was no agreement because I couldn't even hear what it is that he was praying. So then what happened? I'm driving. I text my bishop, my previous bishop. I was at a church. I used to go to this church, and the man was a good man, and he would give me advice, and I would sit down and talk with him. So I text him. But he was busy, and he didn't get back to my text till later on in the evening. So I sat and I waited for like 5-10 minutes. I didn't hear from him, so I just kept driving. Got back in my truck and kept driving. Now I'm driving up Blue Hill Avenue, and it came to my spirit. Go to a church where there are cars in the parking lot. So I drove past the church, didn't see no cars in the parking lot. Kept driving, drove past another church, didn't see no cars in the parking lot. Then I drove by Jubilee Church.
Just the other day, I walked in here for morning prayer, and on Friday morning, there was a young man that was kneeled here at the altar, just crying out to God. When I walked past him, I realized that there was something that was stirring in his spirit. There was something different about him. And he went on and had prayer. And after service was over, after prayer service was over, right around 7:30 or so, I saw him over here talking to Pastor Michael Manigault. And Pastor Mike brought him over to me. And he said, Pastor, I want to introduce you to this young man. This young man was driving down Blue Hill Ave. And something told him to go to the house of God. You see, because there is some momentum that is created, the heavens opened over our church. And so as he started to drive up and down Blue Hill Ave, he told me, he said, I was looking for a church that had cars in the parking lot. So I went by one church, I didn't see any cars. I went by another church, didn't see any cars. I drove past Jubilee and I saw a bunch of cars in the parking lot. So the momentum of our prayers created something in the heavens, and so he steps into the narthex, but it's after hours. It's past 5 o'clock, and all of the doors are closed, and he's just in the narthex, and he can't get in the sanctuary. He can't get down to the Lord. He can't go to the offices, and so he's there, and so something inside of him says, let me go outside of this building and check every single door. So he steps out of the building and he starts to go at every door, trying to open every single door. Every door was locked. The one door, he got to the door, he opened it and it sprung open. And he went down in the lower level and he encountered someone and he said, I need to speak to a pastor. And he spoke to Pastor Mike for 2 hours. And I want you to know that something fell off of him. Every addiction, every generational curse, every demonic assignment that was released, there he is right now, was falling off his life at that prophetic moment. Why? Because the moment was created by momentum. He had a praying father. He had a praying grandmother. He had someone that was praying for him, crying out to God for him, that shifted the heavens. You can't tell me God doesn't move. You can't tell me God doesn't specialize in the miraculous. You can't tell me that you can get stuck in a moment and not get shifted into a momentum where your prayers and your praise and your and every single demonic assignment has to fall off your life. Why? Because the moment's been shifted to momentum and then the movement happens. Hear me. When movement happens, what happens is that you are not operating in your own strength. When movement happens, what happens is that all of heaven stands at attention because of your voice. Because you've been called to release a prayer that has power.
Addiction couldn't keep me, and it doesn't have to keep you or anyone you know. Please share this video with anybody who you know may be struggling with drug or alcohol addiction. God can do anything.